One of the coolest images you'll ever see from the hurricane season of 2017 in the Atlantic Ocean. We had Hurricane Katia, Irma, and Jose all in a row. They call this the hurricane train. What if I told you this could very well happen again? Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. It is July 20th, 2020, 12:25 p.m. Happy birthday to my mom. My mom's birthday is today, July 20th. I always remember that because mine's May 20th, and she's always 2 months after me. So happy birthday, Mom. Shout out to her. And with that said, guys, check out the invest chart we have going on in the Atlantic Ocean. We're mostly focusing on the Gulf here, but yesterday we spoke about this invest right here in between South Florida and Cuba, a little bit more to the east of that. We were closer to the Dominican Republic area yesterday, but we honed in on this invest because of how quickly it was starting to blow up. And since then, we've had two other areas of interest pop up, and one is actually very close to Texas and Louisiana, basically the landing point of what we thought number one was going to be. And then we have the second invest to pop up since yesterday, and that is actually in between the Leeward Islands, basically the northern half of South America and Western Africa, right in the middle there, where we expect to see these storms starting to build up and then move towards the United States. Now, what do we have as far as potential for each of these? If we jump into our visible radar loop, we can kind of see how this popped up overnight, somewhat overnight. It kind of started blowing up really after the sun started hitting it. You could see the sun actually coming into play, not leaving. Sorry about that. So anyway, as we move forward in the line here, we could see just south of Louisiana all these little explosions, it looks like. All these little puffs. It almost looks like we're dropping drops of rain into the ocean over the Gulf. Those are all little miniature storms exploding and then basically connecting together. And what I want you to pay attention to in this clip is when I'm dragging the mouse back and forth, look at the clockwise or counterclockwise spin that we're dealing with here. That's what's really important to look at. That's how we know this is a storm that is beginning to form. The only good thing about this storm is that it's forming so close to land. Chances are it's not going to have enough time to really develop into anything crazy. Nonetheless, we are getting spinning, counterclockwise spin. We can see the lower level clouds closer to the water spinning in a counterclockwise motion. This is definitely going to be a heavy rainmaker for Louisiana and Texas. It already is, being that it's forming basically half on land, half off land. The only thing we'd have to be concerned about with this invest is if it were to come out into the Gulf and then make like a move like Harvey did, where Harvey hit, came back out, and then came back in. For those of you not familiar with Hurricane Harvey, I'm sure most of you are. Hurricane Harvey was a double hit. We came in, hit Texas, came back out, reformed, and hit Texas again. So that's the only chance we really have to worry about this thing other than a rainmaker and some probably coastal flooding along with this invest here. Now, the one they're looking at for the highest potential as far as cyclone formation is still the first one we've been looking at since yesterday, this invest over here, and we could see some of its movement. Now, we looked at it yesterday in the earlier videos from the channel, and we were over by the Dominican Republic and Haiti, that area right there, and we kind of showed this path moving underneath Florida into the Gulf. So now that we have all three of these invests here, you can kind of get an idea of why the moisture is flowing in that area. That's where the high Bermuda Atlantic pressure is pushing these things now. So the Bermuda Atlantic bubble kind of extends into the U.S. at the moment. It kind of fluctuates with the jet stream and different pressures around it, but it's basically forcing these systems to stay underneath Florida and then up into the Gulf, being pushed as far west as Louisiana and Texas. It's not allowing them to come up into the Mississippi, Alabama, or Panhandle region yet. There is time for change, we know that, but right now that high Bermuda Atlantic pressure is digging into the U.S. coast and then also coming down this way. I should say it's going this way in a clockwise motion as far as the Bermuda Atlantic bubble, but then our storms spin in a counterclockwise motion. And that's why we need to look at the spin for the Louisiana storm and the Texas storm that's in the Gulf right now. In this wide view of the globe, we can kind of see all three of these two in an animated sort of way. We could see the beginning of the number two invest down here in between Africa and South America and the Leeward Islands, we are just starting to see that counterclockwise spin where it's beginning to roll over itself. We have a chart called a mimic chart I'm going to bring up next time, where it gives you a prediction of that rollover movement, that tumbling that you start to see before these storms start moving into the Leeward Islands, and this is the beginning of their lifespan, turning into bigger storms. So we got to look very closely at this invest for sure. And then secondly, we need to look at this invest here, which has the 20% chance of formation. We can almost see that momentum beginning to spin also, the counterclockwise spin. And then as we showed up close in this chart here, we absolutely have that counterclockwise spin with the invest already in the Gulf. The good part is that it doesn't have much room to form. So basically out of these three invests right here, besides the immediate rain and possible coastal flooding with number 3, we need to look at number 1, which is 10%, and number 2, which is 20%. 20% being that over the next 5 days, it has a better chance of forming than this one does with Cuba and southern Florida in the way. That's why this is at 10% and not 20%. And within these storms, some of these are pretty severe. We could see some very heavy rainstorms inside this invest by Louisiana. We see the same thing down by Cuba and southern Florida. And we're more than likely going to see the same thing with that third storm outside in the Atlantic Ocean. As far as rain goes with these two systems, we can see right now that this system is definitely going to bring a decent amount of rain, 4 to 5 inches, probably more with the coast being right there. And now that we have that spin, you can expect some coastal flooding because of this. And then we could see that second invest right here that's going to go underneath South Florida and more than likely end up on the west side. Chances of development, again, down to 10%. We still don't know yet. It's all going to be based on the Bermuda Atlantic pressure and what's going on in the Gulf once this thing inches its way closer into that area. A lot of info at once, but the main idea I want you to get out of this video is the Bermuda Atlantic pressure bubble that is keeping these storms exactly where they are. Just picture that invest right here, the second one under Florida, and then out here off screen. But this is what I want you to focus on. This bubble, this high Bermuda Atlantic pressure bubble, is keeping everything at least as far east when it comes to the center of the Atlantic, as far west rather, as Florida. These things are going to come underneath Florida into the Gulf. They're all going to stay outside of this bubble for now, but you can see how that bubble begins to morph. It comes inside Florida, it'll pull outside Florida. So all that has to do with timing based on where these systems are going to go. So the one that has the longest distance to travel is often the one with the biggest threat. But then again, we've seen these storms form very quickly and do damage very quickly. So that's it for now, guys. A lot of info at once. I know that. We do have a small spaghetti plot for that third invest way out in the Atlantic. These are just some ideas of where this thing would go. But you can see the main idea keeps this thing almost south of Puerto Rico, Dominican Republic, and Haiti. That, again, is because of the pressure bubble. We're not going to see much stuff go to the east side of Florida as of right now. All right, guys, I hope everyone's safe. I will be back with another update later. 3 invests, guys, in the Atlantic Ocean. Very reminiscent of the sight we saw with Katia, Irma, and Jose back in 2017. Very big hurricane year. We're expected to have one just like it. Thank you guys so much. Have a great day. I'll be back soon. Bye-bye.